And as promised, we're sitting here with one of our great vendor suppliers that we deal with in our dealership. I told you that we would have some finance people, some body people, some dealer principals. Well, we've got a great body guy here. The body's not so hot, but professionally it's okay. This is Matt Duffy from F3 Manufacturing in Waterville, Maine. Welcome, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Could have picked a better venue.
Yeah, sorry about that. You can't see it in the background, but we'll show you some shots of where we're sitting today. We're in Agunquit, Maine. The view is just spectacular, so I couldn't think of a better place to do a podcast than here. Matt, what's your title with Duramac?
Director of Sales.
Okay, is that nationally or is it a regional?
It's a national thing.
National. First things first, how's the baby doing?
Unbelievable.
And you've got the best baby name on the planet.
Maverick.
Maverick, of course. Now, is that Maverick Top Gun Maverick or Cowboy Maverick?
That's my wife really liked the name Maverick, so that's
okay. All right, I'm going with Top Gun.
I'm going to go with Top Gun. I'm hoping
I'm going to go with Top Gun. I like the Top Gun Maverick. You know, Top Gun 2 is coming out next year.
I was aware of that.
Yeah.
Once we named him Maverick.
After you named the Maverick. Yeah, great. I remember in high school when Top Gun was out, I was Hollywood. That was my nickname, was Hollywood. I can't imagine why.
You still got it going.
I still got it going a little bit, a little bit older. So tell us a little bit about F3 Manufacturing and what you guys do up there, what you specialize in.
So what we have is everything we do is out of aluminum. We don't do any steel. The only steel that we really play with are in our hauler body subframes. So I mean, it's aluminum drive freights, landscape bodies, dump bodies, flatbed service bodies, right down the line.
Okay. So people are used to an aluminum van body, but yours it's aluminum on top of aluminum instead of aluminum on top of steel, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Everything that we have is our long soles, our cross members, our hat posts. Everything is aluminum.
Okay, and I got to imagine that's got some benefits to it, right?
Significant weight savings, longevity of the product, and the bonus part is it's usually priced very compatible to steel, your steel product line.
Okay. And up here in the Northeast, we're using all these corrosive materials on the highway. And are you seeing that an aluminum body is going to get some more longevity out of it than a steel body is?
We hope that you get 2 to 3 chassis out of our bodies.
Okay.
That's the goal.
Okay. So we can consider that kind of a premium product. There's other manufacturers in the industry that design their bodies to be taken from chassis to chassis. Hackney is one of them.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I guess the difference is with Hackney, which is a great body, we sell a lot of those as well. Very specialized, plumbers, electricians, they make beverage bodies. And when you buy a Hackney body, you expect to be able to get 2 or 3 chassis, but you're paying a premium to do that. With you guys, it's price competitive. It's, there may be a small premium that you're going to pay.
Yep.
But, Christ, if you can get 2 or 3 bodies, and by the way, you can swear on this podcast. There's no filter here. Okay. Fucking Duffy. So, as far as distribution around the country, are you more of a regional company? I know you're in Maine, which is kind of where we are now.
Yeah, I would say that our strong presence is definitely northeast down the 95 corridor into Virginia. We do have distribution as far west as Seattle, Washington. We have some dealers down in Dallas, Texas, and scattered all through.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you sell the full product line all the way to Texas, or is it
full product line less van bodies?
And I would imagine that's for
freight purposes,
right? Just the logistics of.
But we have some incredible partners out in the Midwest, out in the West Coast that are just, flatbed service bodies are our biggest push right now. Service bodies have really, really blown up huge.
And I would imagine you can get how many service bodies on a load if you?
14 to 16.
Yeah. So it's not cost prohibitive to ship service bodies, whereas, you get an 18 or a 20-foot van body.
Right.
It's going to cost you a couple $1,000s to get that thing to Texas.
Exactly, especially the way freight rates are right now.
Right. So any thoughts of expanding into other parts of the country in a manufacturing standpoint, or?
Not in the near future. We have.
That's good. We like the monopoly. We like having you up here all to ourselves.
We're trying to just perfect what we have going on right now before we do any big moves.
It's a smart strategy. And for those of you out there, there's something to be learned in that. Try to figure out a niche. Try to figure out what you're going to be good at, and stick with that until you've perfected it, and then you can start to move on into other things. But until you have anything down 100%, it really doesn't make sense to start dabbling in other things. All you do is get distracted. You take your eye off the ball. You agree with that?
I would 100%.
Okay, outstanding. So we know what your distribution's like. What's the economy, let's be honest, it's been pretty strong for the last couple of years, and like you, we've seen year-over-year growth, and we're still seeing some new customers coming in, and we'll probably end up 10 to 20% this year, better than last year. What challenges are you guys facing right now as a company?
As a company, manpower.
Labor, yeah.
Labor, where that would probably be the biggest player in expanding the business. There's a lot of competition out there, a lot of good competition. Every day we go up against guys that, it's the Amazon mindset nowadays. You know what I mean?
Talk a little bit about that. What does that mean to you as a manufacturer, a distributor, and as a sales guy? By Amazon economy, that's a term we use all the time.
Yeah.
Where years ago people were willing to sit down and spec a truck and order it, and then the body comes in, and it's a months long process. Whereas now with not just the advent of the internet, but the internet has taken over everything. It's how we buy our shoes. It's how we buy our toilet paper. It's how we buy everything. And it's natural that a guy that's going to buy a truck is going to think he can do the same thing, right?
Correct, yes.
So with the Amazon economy and instant gratification, you and I come from an age where we remember before there was the internet and before we had computers and 500 channels on TV, but it's not going to be long before every buyer we have grew up with one of these in their hand.
Correct.
And they're going to get used to that instant gratification, and to have anything second to that isn't going to be acceptable. So what have you guys done to kind of keep up with that Amazon instant gratification economy?
I mean, we try real hard to keep up with our dealers to make sure that they have stuff in stock. We try to, just like how we work together, you try to have bodies on the ground. We try to keep some different stuff on the ground that guys might want. We're in the economy right now where customers are not afraid to spend money on what they want. People are buying what they want. It's no longer the cookie cutter world. Right. They still expect it in a short amount of time.
Right. Yeah, we noticed, I noticed a few years ago that as people get more and more used to buying online, and now people don't even think about buying online. It's just, of course you do.
It's what you do.
It's just what you do. If my local dealer, my local Ford dealer, or Chevy dealer, or Isuzu dealer, international like I am, if my local dealer isn't going to stock the truck that I need built, I'm pretty sure with 20 minutes of Google searches and looking at different dealers at Commercial Truck Trader or Truck Paper or wherever it happens to be, I'm going to find a dealer that's got that product.
Yeah.
And maybe it costs me a little bit more to ship it here.
What is it to go down 400 miles to get what you need and work at Monday? You know what I mean?
Nothing, especially if you're that business that just signed a contract that you've got to be on the job site in 2 weeks, and the local dealer's telling you it's going to be 4 months.
Correct.
You can't afford to do that. You're out of business if you do that. So are you stocking bodies? You got them on the ground, you got them ready to go, or are you trying to get to that point?
Trying to get to that point. I mean, we'll stock a certain amount. Most of the time it ends up being oddball stuff that, maybe a factory second, might be landscape body, might have a 16, 20-foot drive freight, but for the most part, we are built to order.
Right.
We try to tier the levels and customization, so you can keep a fast track program going where if a customer needs an 8-foot single rear wheel service body or a 16-foot drive freight body, that's a standard spec stock lift gate, it can be turned around in a
right, and
acceptable amount of time.
And customers need to be realistic too. They've got to understand that. Look, I'm a big stocking dealer of yours. I keep a lot of product in inventory. Landscape bodies, for example, I think I have 15 of your bodies in stock right now, ready to go. But the customers need to understand. Look, if you're a guy that needs your E-Track at 60 inches instead of 48 inches or 30, and you can't have anything but 60 inches, you may have to wait a little while for us to get that configured for you. But if you need to be on the job tomorrow, we've got a truck in stock that'll at least get the job done, and then we can address the fine details later.
And work with, like Nutmeg, for example. you guys are easy because you're not afraid to. Hell, you'll pop the plywood off, put a set of row E-track in, and send the guy down the road. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it helps. As a dealer, we've got a lot of capacity.
A lot of capacity.
We've got the 6 locations. We've got the capability to do some fabrication, some welding. If somebody needs E-track moved, we can do that.
But being diversified like that is what keeps the ball
It does.
rolling.
It does. It does. We try real hard to be kind of a full service. If you need it now, we've got it. If you need something that's changed a little bit, we can take care of that on site. And I got to say, you guys have been really responsive to us. If we've got a customer that's in a jam that needs a special build, you're able to accommodate us in most cases. And I think at least I try to be reasonable.
Absolutely.
Because I was in your industry for a long time. And let's face it, you guys are not in Boston and you're not in Queens. You're in
as far as ways it gets.
You're in Waterville, Maine. So your talent pool is probably 1/100th of some of these metropolitan areas that there's at any time there may be 25 or 50 fabricators looking for a job.
Correct.
You guys don't have that luxury.
No.
So it's got to be tough up there. I understand that. So this podcast is really about being a sales professional in our industry, in the commercial truck universe. Not exclusively to people in that industry. I'm sure there's going to be car salespeople that watch this, or salespeople from industries we've never heard of, that are just looking to maybe grab a little nugget of something. So, from a salesperson standpoint, in your opinion, what's the best aspect of being in our industry? What do you love about what we do, other than the fact that we can do a podcast on a Tuesday afternoon, sitting where we're sitting, and it's part of what we do. So,
I think it's probably 90% of the enjoyment is the relationship base that you have. I mean, this entire industry is based off relationships.
Yeah.
It's not. You could have a superior product. You could have this. You can have that. But this industry, in my opinion, is wholeheartedly relationship based. You buy and sell to people that you have a good relationship with.
Right. Now, you and I didn't know each other 2.5 years ago.
No.
We had never met. I had heard about you through another dealer, and I had you come down. We met.
Yep.
Do you remember that conversation?
I certainly do.
You want to highlight that for us a little bit? Because it gets back to the relationship thing.
Yeah, that was a don't fuck me, I won't fuck you kind of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, don't lie to me.
Don't lie to me.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's so we've had a relationship now for a couple of years. We've been buying a lot of product from you. Do you annual sales? Do you have an idea what we're doing with you now, or?
You guys are well over $1 million a year.
Yeah, and that's from zero. We started from zero, and I can tell you that the reason that we went from zero to over $1 million a year was because of a relationship. So, you as sales professionals, relationships between you and your customers are paramount. There's no question about it. But relationships between you, your coworkers, your industry peers, your vendors, the guy that makes the shirts for your dealership, those relationships are as important. And my job as a business development manager is to really build these relationships, because it strengthens not just my portfolio, but everybody that's at our dealership. And that's my number one job, is to strengthen those relationships. So, you and I met, we started doing a lot of business. What's been the challenge for us as a customer of yours?
I would say we're a newer company. We've run into some growing pains, if you would. You guys have been top notch, though, working with us through it. All of my guys have been, all my customers. I think we've really found a niche, you know what I mean? And we've developed a great customer base with a great customer following that has worked with us. And I think now we really have it dialed in, where we know our capacities, we know our deliveries. We've utilized some really good resources to help stuff turn around faster.
Right.
We've listened to our customers, where you say, hey, you have to have X, Y, and Z on the ground. You know what? Let's try it. Guess what? It works.
Yeah, you guys are kind of in, astronomers call it the Goldilocks zone. You're in that it's not too hot, not too cold. You're just right for life. You're a small enough company that you can still be responsive to your customers,
Yes.
but you're large enough that you've got you've got the support team behind you that if somebody comes to you with some crazy idea, like you and I are building a solar powered unit right now, you're not so big that you can't say, you know what, if we do this project, it's going to screw up 2 production lines and we're not going to get it done. You guys could sit, but don't worry about us. So, you know, the threat is, I guess the fear for guys like you and I in our position is that we get so big that we stop being responsive to customers. And you have to, I think, for me personally, I think about it all the time. I find myself in my day-to-day operations, I have to every week or every 2 weeks or every month or whatever it is, I have to take one piece out of my day and I have to now delegate that to somebody else because I know I'm not doing a good enough job at it because I don't have the time.
Correct.
And that's true on a personal basis, but it's also true on a corporate basis. Sometimes you've got to just pass some stuff along so that you stay true to your core.
Yes, I'll agree with that. But you got to, it's tough for guys like me and guys like you to...
We want it all, man.
Yeah. And
the crazier the shit is, the more I want to do it, right?
Honestly, you know, you sit there some days and you're like, you know, no one can do it. It's like someone's got to do it because I'm not doing it the best of my ability. Yeah. So someone else has to do it. And that's been, I think that's been a real struggle of mine just because I've really been there since the ground up. And it's become quite the business. So
you as a sales director, how much of your time is spent handling the accounts and the customers you have, and how much of it is spent bringing in new business? Do you focus a lot on bringing in new people, or is it mostly just...
That's the goal, but I would say 75% of it is based on just maintaining the current business that we have, keeping the customers that we have right now happy, keeping, you know, taking in any kind of questions, quoting.
You know, it's funny. I think back to when I first got in the business, and I looked at some of the, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but when you look back at some of the old timers that were in the business, and they had a book of business this thick that came back to them year after year after year after year. And there wasn't, you know, you didn't prospect, you don't have to do that. You've got a book of business that you draw from. And as a new sales guy, you thought to yourself, man, that's the shit. That's what I want.
Get to that point.
Until you get there.
Right.
And it's like, no, I still want more.
Right.
Right? It's a really hard balance because as much as I love to take care of the current client base that we have so much to offer as a company, and I know you have a lot to offer as a company. You want to bring more people into the fold.
Absolutely.
And it's a constant challenge how to balance taking care of that good core that you have and still bringing in a new book of business.
And if in the back of your mind, you're not always thinking about growing what you have, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be the goal.
Yeah, and that's where that delegation thing comes in, is you get to a point where, you know, I'd love to bring in a new book of business, but maybe the best way for me to spend my resources is to mentor somebody else so that they can build theirs. And it becomes a win-win. The company wins, you win, the customer wins, and somebody that's new into the industry wins. So because this is about learning and growing in our industry, what type of advice do you have for new guys coming in or new women coming in? And by the way, women, if you're not in this business, you're missing out. There's a boatload of money to be made. You've got a built-in differentiator from the rest of us idiots. Take advantage of it and use it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I would say the biggest thing is if everyone in this business is just people. We're not carrying live organs. We're not, you know what I mean? We're selling trucks and truck equipment to the normal human, you know, Joe and Sam and Bill, and you know what I mean? You're dealing with just average, normal, everyday people who are growing a business.
Right.
You know, build a relationship just like you would expect. You know, you have loyalty in this business. You have a ton of opportunity, and it's yours to lose. It's, you know, I've learned firsthand how quick you can lose someone that you work so hard on getting. You know what I mean? It's all about being responsive. You know,
it's such a. I got to tell you, I have a, and I'm. The purpose of this is not to point fingers at anybody. It's not to talk negatively about anyone in particular. But I'll tell you that I have a body company that I've dealt with for, I'm going to tell you, better than 20 years, okay? And over those 20 years, I've done tens of millions of dollars worth of business with them. And I've worked at several different dealership groups in different positions. And even though my role has changed, I've always been in a purchasing position. I've always been the guy that could sign the order, give them a purchase order. I was the guy. I have one company in particular that, even though I still give them business because they give me a product there's not a lot of competition in, okay? I have not seen their sales rep in over 3 years at my dealership. Now, I've run into them, different sales rep from this company, on different occasions at trade shows or out on the street. And I've said, hey, come on, you got to stop in. I mean, I'd like to do more with you. I'd like to do more. Yep, we'll do it. We'll get together. We'll have lunch. And crickets. Nothing happens. And I got to tell you, I'm still giving them business, but the second somebody else shows up that asks me for my business and has a competitive product, they're gone. They're gone. So that's why it's so important to stay in touch with your customers. It's the relationship thing that you were talking about.
I mean, I'm sure just like you. I mean, you on your way to work in the morning, your way home from work at night, you're probably on the phone the whole time, calling people. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Anything different? Anything?
You don't have to sell them anything. Just how you doing?
How's that? How's that quote look? Do you need anything from me? Anything I can do for you? Just keeping in touch, keeping your name fresh in their mind. Just,
Yep.
This is a simple business. It's just very, very relationship based.
It's my dealership. We're in Connecticut, and just to get back to that following up and staying in touch with people, I had a customer call me today that actually called me this morning. He's in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I sold him 3 trucks 2 years ago. And he called me. He says, "Hey, we're in the market. We need another one. We had a truck go down." And part of me was gratified that he remembered me. The experience was good enough that he called me back. But when I saw his name come up on my phone, I thought to myself, shit, I haven't talked to him in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Shame on me, right? That's the one guy that remembered me and did call me. What about the 15 or 20 that don't? And maybe a phone call every 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is makes that happen more often. And those are the things you got to think about. And so part of me is happy that he called me, and part of me is thinking, man, what a jerk I am.
And the other side too, I mean, your boy Rico has taught me a lot of things. I mean, there's so many things with technology now that can help you in your sales force. Reach out to your customers on a regular basis without really having to do too much. There's those cards that he sends
the send out cards are amazing.
Cards are amazing.
It's a way to stay in front of people without, you're not selling them anything.
No.
It's just hey, how's it going?
I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you did for me.
Yep. I don't want to spoil too much about Rico because he's going to do a podcast with me, and we're going to
hold on, people.
We're gonna dive deep into that. But so the last kind of formal question I have for you is, what's the best advice you can give somebody that's either in our business, maybe struggling, maybe they're a rock star, maybe they don't think they need any advice, we all do, or somebody new that's coming into the business? I always think about that super stellar salesperson that's in the car field that just feels like they hit the ceiling. It's like if I lose one more sale because I don't have the right color, I'm going to freak out. You get into the truck business and you learn in a hurry that all of the emotion is taken out of our transactions.
Yes.
There's nothing emotional about what we do. This is business to business. It's a business decision. It's a business transaction. Can you solve a problem for the customer? So let's say somebody's making that transition and they're in the car business. They want to come into the commercial truck sales business. What's the best advice? And I know you never sold cars before.
No.
But what's the best advice you can give them about what the difference is in the mindset?
It's a need. You're providing a solution for a customer to make money. I mean, and you're building a lifelong relationship. As long as you don't lie and you don't over-promising and under-delivering
gets back to that first conversation you and I ever had.
You have to be completely transparent. You have to, the line of communication, it's all these people care about.
Right.
You know, they're all in business. They understand that sometimes things go over, sometimes things don't go right. You know,
Right.
they're a lot more understanding than your retail car salesman.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And if you tell the customer that up front,
Yes.
I'm being quoted 3 to 4 weeks turnaround.
Call it 7.
However, things happen.
Yes.
So I don't want you to plan on that 3 to 4 weeks. That's best case scenario. Could be 5 or 6 weeks.
Absolutely.
Be prepared for that.
Just set reasonable expectations.
And be proactive.
Yes.
I mean, don't wait for the customer to call you and say, hey, where is my XYZ?
Yes.
Pick up the phone, make that, as Rico calls it, I guess in the Wall Street world, it's called the 10,000 pound phone call. You get those out of the way in the morning, where picking up that phone is like, I really don't want to do this. Do them early, do them fast, and get them out of the way. So that kind of ends our business side of the interview. Now we've got some really interesting things coming up, and this is what we call rapid fire. So rapid fire, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Right here. My family's here, my friends are here. I like it here. Maine.
If you had enough money, you could move your friends and family anywhere you want to be.
I'm not that good at friends or family. No, we're good here.
You're kind of an asshole from time to time.
Big time.
But yeah, but a lovable one, so that's all right. That's fine. What's your dream car?
Just a big old...
If I did $5 million next year, what car would you buy?
Why just a big old jacked up F-350?
Really?
Yeah.
that's what you're driving now.
Yes, I love it.
Dude, you gotta aim higher. All right.
Aim higher.
Gotta aim higher. What's your favorite?
With a Ferrari motor.
Right. There you go. Now we're talking. What's your favorite movie all time? It better have Maverick in it.
Anything,
not, right?
Anything with Chris Farley.
Chris Farley, really?
He's my man.
Okay.
I mean, granted, had some bad lifestyle choices, but he's a good man.
He was not clean, as they say.
No, him or
clean.
Adam Sandler. I'm a big comedy fan.
All right, so low IQ.
Yeah,
I get it.
absolutely.
I get it.
You fucking asshole.
What's your favorite cocktail?
Tito soda.
Tito's and soda.
Mm-hmm.
That explains that. What's the number one in your mind? There is a right and a wrong answer here.
Okay.
And I got a list of 10 that I'll share over the following months. What's the most overrated band or musician you ever heard?
Overrated?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I listen to country music. I listen to like Kenny Chesney and shit like that.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, to stay in the genre, what's the,
Luke Bryan's kind of a loser. I don't know.
Luke Bryan, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not into it.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Kind of overrated,
I
I
mean,
guess.
I thought you'd be like Janis Joplin. I mean, Janis Joplin, really? That shit?
I was born
That's
in
right?
85. I don't listen to Janis Joplin.
Well, I know, but you can listen to it now and you can say, well, that was just garbage.
I would never listen to that.
I mean, I don't get it, man. I mean, see, for me, it's like, I listened to, what was the band I was listening to the other day? I thought, this is just fucking trash. Dire Straits. Okay,
Garbage.
all right, they're good musicians. They get 3 songs, but really? I mean, come on. Money for Nothing was fine, but it was all about the video. It had nothing to do with the song. And if Sting didn't sing on it, it would have totally sung. So anyway, I want to thank you. This has been fantastic. You and I are going to probably have another cocktail or two. We're going to...
4, yeah.
We're 4.
Yeah.
We're 4. I want to thank you for the great business relationship we have.
Thank you.
We've grown tremendously in the last 2 years. I mean, triple-digit growth. Could not have done that without you.
Same.
Appreciate that. And folks, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.